Our story opens early in the morning as students head to school. They are attending the famous and prestigious Tokyo school, Toritsu Hino Minami High School. While the students are walking, a girl suddenly slips, but she is saved by another girl. The girl who saved her is Koshi Tarako, a well-known and respected figure at the school. Koshi is a second-year student, the student council president, and the class representative of 2B. She has a remarkable personality, admired by everyone for her beauty, brilliance, and athletic abilities. She is also well-known in her neighborhood for helping others, and her positive attitude attracts many people. She seems like the perfect girl, but this is only one side of the story. On the other hand, she has a secret. She is actually a delinquent influenced by shonen manga. She lives a double life, hiding this side of herself because she craves attention and respect from others, even if it means doing wrong deeds. As she heads to school, she suddenly notices a girl hanging from a tower. The girl is not attempting suicide. She is alive and appears mysterious with deer antlers on her head. Koshi cannot comprehend what she's seeing, whether this girl is a new kind of cryptid or a villain from an evil organization. The hanging girl asks for help, but Koshi, being selfish and fearful, just worries about being late for school and decides to leave. However, the hanging girl starts blackmailing and frightening her by saying the school's reputation will suffer if someone finds a girl hanging from a tower. Reluctantly, Koshi decides to help and gets her down from the tower. The girl thanks her but calls her a delinquent, which Koshi cannot tolerate as she prides herself on being perfect and beautiful. Not wanting to get into any trouble, Koshi leaves and continues on her way. After that, the teacher introduces a new transfer student in class, and to everyone's shock, it's the girl who is hanging from the tower. Koshi is stunned and cannot believe it. As the girl enters the classroom, her antlers break the door and wall, hurting everyone, but that's just Koshi's exaggerated imagination. In reality, the girl introduces herself as Shikanoko Noko, with the nickname Nokotan. Everyone welcomes her warmly, and she is seated next to Koshi. The two girls start talking like nothing happened between them before. Everything seems normal until Nokotan suddenly calls Koshi a delinquent, which shocks everyone. No one believes it, as Koshi is the model student. Koshi gets angry but controls herself to avoid causing trouble. Later, Koshi enters the classroom and finds her desk covered with deer crackers, a popular snack in Nara Prefecture usually tested during school trips. The students typically give mixed reviews on the taste, saying it's just okay. Koshi realizes this is Nokotan's doing, especially since Nokotan's mouth is watering at the sight of them. Nokotan tells her it's a thank you gift for helping her that morning. Koshi refuses to accept it, so Nokotan tries to offer her antlers instead, as they are also edible. Koshi declines again and advises Nokotan to live without her antlers, as she would look like a normal student without them. However, Nokotan remains focused on giving her something as a thank you gift. People start thinking they have become friends. Koshi takes her to the student council room to talk privately. Here, Nokotan gives Koshi a nickname similar to her own, which Koshi reluctantly accepts. They then discuss the main issue. Koshi warns her not to reveal her true identity because it would ruin her perfect image. However, Nokotan doesn't seem to fully grasp this and instead says she feels creepy and outcast due to everyone mocking her appearance, leading her to offer Koshi her antlers again as a token of apology. Koshi feels bad and apologizes to her. In the afternoon, while heading home, Koshi hears strange noises. She checks and finds Nokotan collapsed on the floor, bleeding. Koshi panics, but Nokotan explains it's just a minor accident, she fell from a stepladder. Despite the heavy bleeding, which frightens Koshi, Nokotan insists on continuing to clean the unused warehouse, as she can't do it alone. They work hard together and finish cleaning, enjoying each other's company. Just then, the teacher arrives, praises their work, and tells Koshi that she should also join the new deer club that will be based in this place. Koshi doesn't want to join, but both the teacher and Nokotan call her smart and praise her so much that she feels compelled to agree. They begin filling out the club application forms, and Koshi is made the president, despite not wanting the role. Now, Koshi is responsible for the club, including combing Nokotan's hair, which she does while a girl with a scary gaze watches them from afar. The next day, Koshi goes to the deer club excitedly because she worked hard that morning to create this club and turn it into a beautiful, comfortable place. She put in a lot of effort to make the club presentable for today's meeting. Koshi is also very eager to see Nokotan's reaction. However, her happiness is shattered in a second when she arrives and finds her beautifully established club destroyed. Everything is out of place, and there's a great mess everywhere. She's confused and disappointed because she spent all her money and precious time on this project. Nokotan, who was hiding behind a table, tells her to be careful as the place is dangerous. Koshi, however, is upset and thinks Nokotan might have caused the mess, but Nokotan insists she didn't do anything and that everything was already destroyed when she arrived. She then tells Koshi that someone is targeting her and trying to kill her. She explains that several incidents happened earlier that morning. She fell into a 5-meter hole on her way to school, spears fell from the sky, and even a water bottle nearly hit her. Koshi finds it hard to believe and thinks Nokotan is just overthinking. She suggests they go outside for some fresh air, but at that moment, a spear falls toward them. Koshi is frightened and tries to escape, but Nokotan stops her, convincing her to face the situation. Koshi bravely asks who's trying to kill Nokotan and demands that they come forward, but instead, a deer cracker appears. Nokotan rushes to get it, ignoring Koshi's warning that it might be a trap. Nokotan's love for deer crackers is so strong that she runs straight into the trap. Even after getting caught, she still wants the crackers. Frustrated, she loudly demands that the person who wants to kill her come out and fight her. Suddenly, a girl appears and hugs Koshi, calling her sister. She introduces herself as Koshi Anko, Koshi's younger sister, and says she's been following her because she misses her and wants to be with her all the time. Anko explains that she's been causing trouble because she thought Nokotan was taking her sister away, as Koshi has been coming home late, leaving early, and spending too much time at the club. Koshi is confused by her sister's possessive and jealous behavior, which resembles that of a clingy girlfriend. Anko tells them she wants to stay close to her sister and claims she'll be the one to make Koshi lose her virginity. She also threatens to kill anyone who comes between them, including Nokotan. However, she quickly changes her mind and suggests a fair fight instead. They agree that if Anko wins, Nokotan will have to live as a deer in Nara Park, but if Anko loses, she'll step back from the relationship. Nokotan accepts the challenge on the condition that if she wins, she'll receive a lot of deer crackers. Koshi tries to stop them, but the battle is set. A teacher acts as the referee, and everyone takes their positions. The first challenge is to answer what Koshi does before going to bed. Anko answers correctly, revealing that Koshi talks to her stuffed animals and kisses them. They even show a picture as proof. Koshi is embarrassed and tries to stop them, but the students are excited to learn more about her. Nokotan also answers correctly, stating that Koshi wears a bra top to bed, with proof shown as well. Koshi feels ashamed and wishes the battle would end. In the next round, Anko reveals that Koshi has never dated anyone because she believes in waiting for her destined love. Both Anko and Nokotan keep giving correct answers, leaving Koshi bewildered about how they know so much about her. As the day goes on, the battle continues with both girls tied in points. Anko gets frustrated, accusing Nokotan of using her antlers to gather information. Enraged, she attacks Nokotan with a spear, but Nokotan narrowly escapes. Koshi, exhausted and fed up, wants to go home. Suddenly, a spear flies toward Koshi, but Nokotan jumps in front of her and gets hurt. Koshi becomes emotional, tears welling up in her eyes as she begs Nokotan not to leave her alone. It's a heartbreaking scene for everyone. The deer arrives and takes Nokotan's soul, but the Deer King returns it, allowing her to survive. Nokotan reveals that she wasn't seriously hurt because she had hidden deer crackers where the spear struck. Anko thanks Nokotan for saving her sister and feels guilty for her actions. Nokotan reassures her, and they make peace, becoming friends. Everyone is excited about this unexpected turn of events. The next day, Koshi excitedly goes to the club because a new member has joined. However, she is surprised to see a deer in the club eating deer crackers. She cannot believe that the first new member in their club is a deer. Koshi looks closely at the deer and thinks it must be Nokotan playing a trick on her, pretending to be a deer. She tells the deer to come back to its real form and even tries to remove the deer's costume, but the deer becomes annoyed and punches her. Later, after school, Koshi returns with Sakura Mochi-flavored tapioca milk tea, which is popular at her school. She drinks all the tea alone because the deer cannot drink it. She does this just to tease the deer, but the deer ignores her and starts eating plants instead. Koshi tries to stop it but hears a strange noise coming from the deer's nose, indicating that it's getting angry. Still, she wants to protect her plants because she loves them. Determined to stop the deer, she sprays water around it, knowing that deer are usually afraid of water bottles. But this deer doesn't seem bothered and keeps moving around casually. Koshi takes the situation seriously and threatens to burn her poetry book, something very embarrassing for her, hoping this will force the deer to reveal its true form. But nothing happens, so she decides to sing a song, confident that it will affect the deer. She sings beautifully, like a professional artist, and the deer watches her intently. When she finishes the song, she finds Nokotan standing behind her. Surprised, she sees that the deer and Nokotan are separate entities after all. Koshi realizes that the deer might just be attracted by the smell of deer crackers. Afterward, Nokotan reads her poetry book while Koshi gives a speech about enrolling new members. As Koshi and Nokotan head back to the club, they find a girl sleeping at the door. Koshi panics, but the girl wakes up, introducing herself as Bashaim Mean, a first-year student who came to check out their club. She's impressed by Nokotan and wants to meet her. Koshi gets excited, thinking Bashaim is praising her, but it turns out she's actually complimenting Nokotan. Bashaim explains that she almost collapsed from hunger that morning, but Nokotan appeared out of nowhere and saved her by giving her a deer cracker. Now, she wants to become Nokotan's companion. Koshi cannot believe that a girl wants to become a deer, but it happens. Nokotan agrees to let Bashame join as her companion, and she joins their club. Meanwhile, Anko, Koshi's sister, has also been promoted to high school and wants to join the club to stay close to Koshi. When Anko enters the club and sees her sister with Bashame, she becomes angry. Koshi, however, is happy because the Deer Club is now a proper club with 2 new members, and she's eager to make it great. The next day, Koshi enters the club full of energy, only to find everyone lounging around. Frustrated, she decides to hold a meeting to discuss the club's future and goals. She tells them they are partners now and need to work together to show the school how amazing they are. She asks Nokotan about her goal for the year, but Nokotan gives a silly response. She wants to take a bath in deer crackers. Koshi is exasperated, thinking it's absurd that the club's founder has such a ridiculous goal. Next, she asks Bashame for her goal, but instead of answering, Bashame serves her some rice and says she wants to create a rice field because rice is essential for people's survival. Koshi feels hopeless after hearing this and moves on to Anko, who says she only joined the club to support her sister. This excites Koshi, but then Anko clarifies that she just doesn't want her sister making friends with anyone else. Koshi shares her goal of rebuilding the club building, but everyone opposes her, advising her to focus on activities that would attract more deer and improve their lives. They suggest that caring for deer is a meaningful goal, but Koshi finds it boring, as it mostly involves brushing the deer. She jokingly starts brushing Bashame and Nokotan instead, and seeing this, Anko also wants to become a deer so her sister can brush her hair. Koshi feels helpless among all these strange personalities. Other girls in the school mock their club activities and make fun of them. In the previous part, we met Koshi, who appears to be the perfect and ideal girl at her school. However, in reality, she's a delinquent living a fake life. She meets a mysterious girl named Nokotan, who enters her life and completely changes it. Nokotan forces her to create a deer club, and Koshi ends up doing it without any real purpose. The new school term starts, and Koshi welcomes the newcomers to the student council as the student council president. She is very excited about the new batch. All the new girls who join the student council seem very innocent, but this is not the reality. One of them wants to destroy the Deer Club without any clear reason, perhaps just out of hatred or because of its popularity. Meanwhile, Koshi is busy with her personal student activities and is working on making a booklet for the new students. However, a girl who is the vice president of the student council, named Nikoyamada Niko, has already prepared it and shows it to her. Koshi is very happy because Nikoyamada has a positive and sweet behavior toward her. But this is just what she thinks, the reality is different. Nikoyamada is actually Koshi's greatest enemy. She hates her because she is popular, has good grades, and is liked by everyone. Even Koshi's newly established club is gaining popularity, which makes Nikoyamada unhappy. She dislikes Koshi and wants to expose her in front of everyone and disband her club. Nikoyamada is a double-faced person. She shows love and care toward Koshi while harboring hatred for her in her heart. Koshi is busy with her work when another girl, the secretary of the student council named Tanakakoji Kinu, comes with some printouts. This girl has very innocent eyes. Koshi finds some mistakes in her work, which trouble Kinu a lot. She starts crying as if she made a catastrophic mistake that could lead to the world's destruction. She begins imagining that her mistake will cause massive problems, first-year students will react badly, leading to chaos, and Koshi will be ashamed and forced to resign from the student council. Koshi tries to calm her down, but Kinu is an overthinker who keeps imagining the worst-case scenarios. She even considers committing suicide in front of everyone if things go wrong. Koshi reassures her that nothing will happen and promises to fix the mistake. Koshi later meets another girl named Tsubamiya Chiharu, who handles accounting for the student council. Tsubamiya is focused on her work and barely responds when Koshi tries to engage her in conversation, asking why she joined the council. Suddenly, Tsubamiya asks if Koshi is the head of the Deer Club, which makes Koshi uneasy since her club is rather silly. Koshi admits that she is and asks for the reason behind the question, but Tsubamiya doesn't elaborate, leaving Koshi disturbed. Without further thought, Koshi asks if Tsubamiya wants to join the Deer Club, but Tsubamiya makes an unreadable expression, so Koshi drops the topic. Koshi then asks Nikoyamada to lock the student council room, and she agrees. Koshi thanks her, but Nikoyamada feels bad that she couldn't do anything to disband the Deer Club that day. Koshi enters the club and finds Tsubamiya visiting, which confuses her. Maybe Tsubamiya really wants to join the club? Koshi is hesitant about letting her join because it could reveal the club's silliness. She tells Nokotan, another member, not to do anything that could cause problems. However, the other members engage in unnecessary and pointless chatter with Tsubamiya. Koshi ignores this and tells Tsubamiya that the club is amazing. mentioning its many activities. Before she can finish, Nokotan shows a bizarre video of one of their meetings with a deer. The other girls are fascinated by it, but Koshi tells them to be quiet and serves tea instead. Everything seems fine until Nokotan suddenly offers Tsubamiya a deer cracker, which is a weird and creepy gesture. Tsubamiya is surprisingly fascinated by the cracker. Nokotan then serves grass as another gift. Koshi tries to stop all this, but Tsubamiya is loving it. Koshi struggles to connect with her, but Tsubamiya seems more impressed by Nokotan, which leaves Koshi disappointed. After spending a long time together, Tsubamiya leaves, excited and happy after the meeting. She is a huge fan of Nokotan and is deeply impressed by her, wanting to be like her. Tsubamiya even resents Koshi's friendship with Nokotan, as she can't stand anyone getting close to her idol. One day, while searching for ways to become more attractive, Koshi accidentally bumps into Tanakikoji. They both end up doing some manual work together in the gym equipment storage room. Koshi tries to lighten the mood with jokes, but Tanakikoji is frightened when the door closes, leaving them locked inside. Koshi tries to calm her, but nothing works. While Koshi considers ways to get help, Tanakikoji begins imagining strange scenarios where they are trapped forever, their energy slowly depleting until they turn into ghosts and become a mystery no one can solve. She cries a lot over these thoughts. As they continue talking, they hear a sound. Koshi sees Nokotan outside and calls for her, but Nokotan is lost in thought, singing a song about her beloved deer crackers. She is so absorbed in her singing that she doesn't notice them and walks away. Tanakikoji's condition worsens, and she hides herself, believing this situation is her punishment. Koshi talks to her and asks what her biggest mistake was. Tanakikoji responds that her biggest mistake was claiming she liked cooking in her introduction, even though she barely knows how to cook. Koshi reassures her, thinking it's just a minor mistake, but Tanakikoji feels like a failure for misleading others into thinking she's perfect. She continues crying until, suddenly, the door opens, and Nokotan appears. Nokotan isn't there to rescue them. She's just checking on the mushrooms she's growing in the room, a creepy thing to do but fitting for her. After that, they all have lunch together, and everyone enjoys it. Koshi arrived at school on time and opened her locker, only to find a letter inside. Before she could think about it, Nokotan appeared and mentioned that Koshi had come to school while she was asleep and had taken over. Koshi, not willing to let this slide, reminded Nokotan that she had saved her life multiple times from the hunting club that wanted to hunt her down. Koshi proudly recalled how she had survived their numerous attacks, including bombings, all on her own. Koshi and Nokotan then shifted their attention back to the letter, wondering what it could be. They debated whether it was a love letter or something else. Koshi blushed at the thought, imagining that someone might be admiring her beauty and had left her a love letter. Nokotan, sensing this, teased her and claimed that her locker also contained love letters, which she could detect with her antlers. However, when she opened her locker, there was no letter, much to her shock. Ignoring this, Nokotan asked Koshi what she planned to do, whether she would date the sender. Blushing, Koshi replied that she wouldn't go because she was a perfect student and didn't want to risk her reputation. This made Nokotan angry, and she advised Koshi to consider the sender's feelings and to go on a date. They continued discussing whether it was a love letter or not until Koshi finally opened it, feeling a mix of emotions. To her surprise, it wasn't a love letter, it was a warning. The letter revealed that a group of 3 girls hated her and wanted to ruin her reputation. They were jealous of her nature and behavior toward others and had even mocked Nokotan, treating her like a pet. Nokotan became furious and wanted to confront them, but Koshi tried to stop her. Nokotan insisted that as a deer-human hybrid, she was stronger and could handle them. The girls showed up, armed and ready to fight. Despite Nokotan's strength, she was captured. During the struggle, she attempted to help Koshi by offering her antlers, but Koshi dismissed the gesture and tossed them toward a building, which unexpectedly collapsed, hurting everyone involved. One evening, Koshi decided to follow Nokotan and observe her activities. She found her sitting in a park for about an hour, doing nothing. Koshi wondered if Nokotan was homeless or perhaps planning to eat her antlers as a snack, which saddened her. Concerned that her club members might be starving, Koshi considered buying her dinner. However, her concern was shattered when she saw Nokotan eating a banana from her antlers. Intrigued by Nokotan's strange behavior, Koshi continued following her to the Hino Zoo, where Nokotan interacted with other deer. Koshi was puzzled when visitors to the zoo behaved normally around Nokotan. Nokotan chatted with the deer and sold crackers to the visitors, telling them to feed the animals. The moment the crackers were offered, Nokotan devoured them in an instant. This left Koshi even more confused. As the night went on, Koshi watched Nokotan sit atop a deer while other deer called her the Lord of Deer. Nokotan performed magic tricks, emitting dark yellow light, which mesmerized everyone. When Nokotan noticed Koshi, she asked what she was doing there. Koshi awkwardly replied that she was just observing. Nokotan thanked the deer and said she was tired from her work, craving bubble tea. She then showed Koshi some money, which surprised her. They shared bubble tea and spent a pleasant evening together before heading home. Meanwhile, Nikoyamada was lurking around the club, searching for evidence to use against Koshi. While Koshi was busy in a meeting with the teachers, Nikoyamada tried to peek through a window but was startled when Nokotan suddenly appeared. Mistaking Nikoyamada's intentions, Nokotan enthusiastically invited her inside and served her deer crackers. When Nokotan asked why she wanted to join the club, Nikoyamada nervously explained that she wasn't there to join but was just passing by and didn't admire them like others did. Hearing this, Nokotan's heart broke, and she tearfully asked her to leave. Feeling guilty, Nikoyamada offered to take a tour of the club as a gesture of goodwill, secretly intending to gather information on Koshi. Nokotan agreed and introduced her to everyone. The first member she met was Bashame, who spoke normally but with bizarre undertones. Despite the odd conversation, they got along well. Next, she met Anko, who referred to herself as her sister's personal deer. Nikoyamada hoped to gain useful information but was quickly scared off when Anko became possessive of her sister. After the tour, Nokotan gave Nikoyamada some deer crackers, but she didn't recognize them, which angered Nokotan. However, when Bashame was offered the crackers, she devoured them as if her life depended on it. As the day ended, Anko headed home since her sister wasn't coming. Before leaving, Nokotan demonstrated how her antlers grew larger, leaving Nikoyamada astonished. Nokotan then encouraged Nikoyamada to imagine herself as a deer with antlers, which she did with full concentration. Although Nikoyamada felt nothing, Nokotan praised her, declaring she would become a great deer and even gifted her some antlers. Nikoyamada left the club happily, now adorned with antlers. She was pleased but also conflicted, as she had initially come to find Koshi's weaknesses but ended up doing nothing. The next day, Nokotan shows Koshi some of her psychic powers. She holds a spoon and meditates on it when suddenly a faint light appears, and the spoon shines a little, which shocks Koshi. Koshi wants some coffee to drink, and Nokotan prepares it for her, but in a very strange way, so Koshi refuses to accept it. Koshi is also upset and worried because they don't have much money and wonders how they will manage everything, especially since all their money is going toward deer crackers. They don't even have enough funds to fulfill the deer club activities and other needs. Nokotan suggests selling her antlers to earn money, which isn't an issue since they grow back every night. They both agree to this, but unfortunately, the antlers aren't selling well online, so they stop. Nokotan then suggests selling body pillow covers and even shows a sample to Koshi, but she rejects it because the pillow cover features Nokotan's face and looks creepy and weird. Next, Nokotan proposes selling t-shirts for their club and even wants to try them on but struggles because of her antlers. Koshi really wants to put an end to all these ideas. The next time, Nokotan shows up in a strange costume and asks Koshi a random question about whether she dropped silver or gold antlers, then gives her gaming antlers as a gift for her honesty. It's such a childish thing, but she does it because she doesn't care much about anything. Koshi tries to drink her bubble tea but can't because Nokotan sticks her antler in the cup instead of a straw as a joke. Anko then shows Koshi her middle school uniform, which fits her well, and she gets overly excited about wearing it. After all this, they try to save a seal shaped like an antler and offer it to people in the student council. Both girls discuss how the seal comes in different beautiful designs that fascinate everyone. Nikoyamada also wants one and spends the night thinking about it before finally buying it. Koshi is studying but keeps getting disturbed by Anko, who serves her tea, then snacks, and then tea again, making it impossible for her to focus. The next day, Nokotan tells everyone that the club members are going to form a music band, play songs, and become famous worldwide. Koshi tries to stop her, but Nokotan keeps imagining and assigning everyone roles, thinking their band will be the greatest in the world, even though none of them are skilled. Anko is excited about the coming summer at school and is thrilled with her new uniform, as it allows her to see her sister more visibly, especially since the sleeves are sheer and the uniform is somewhat see-through. She looks at her sister with creepy eyes, which makes everyone in the club uncomfortable. Nokotan tells everyone that her antlers can move easily. Koshi points out that this might be a sign of a strange disease since Nokotan has been picking up crackers from the ground constantly, and crackers are hard to find in the city and on the roads. Bashame suggests she might have a disease called rice blast, caused by a fungus that grows in rice paddies and is feared by many farmers. Koshi disagrees, saying it's a plant disease, but no one can convince Nokotan otherwise as she keeps talking about rice. She explains that she's worried about social issues because rice blast can cause food shortages and destruction. Nokotan becomes emotional and decides to leave the club because, like the deer that aren't dying but disappearing, She plans to disappear and leave everything to Koshi. Koshi tries to stop her, but she ignores her and leaves. Just as she's about to go, deer appear at the club with white spots similar to those on Nokotan, which everyone thought were signs of a disease. They realize it's not a disease, the deer are just molting, as they do in this season, and the white spots are part of the Kanko design. Nokotan isn't leaving because she's sick, she's completely fine. Nokotan then shows them a terrible outfit she wore yesterday, which Koshi finds awful, while Bashain wears it enthusiastically and is happy with it. Koshi is glad the summer season in the club is going well. Nokotan also offers Anko another coat to wear, but she refuses. Koshi wonders what would happen if Nokotan's hair starts shedding, which she considers a terrible thought, especially for a girl. On the other hand, Nikoyamada asks all the council members for a report on eradicating the club, but none of them have done much work. Nokotan joins in and criticizes them for not doing a good job, then shows them a ball she found on the school grounds and calls it Tsukinoko. The ball has a unique shape and moves, which scares Nikoyamada. Nokotan is excited and claims it's really a Tsukinoko and introduces it as her new friend. Everyone touches it and finds it soft and lovable. Nokotan tries to feed it a deer cracker, but it refuses, which makes her angry. It also dislikes grass and bubble tea. The ball refuses all these things but eats chalk instead. Everyone is focused on it when Nikoyamada touches it and falls in love with how soft and cute it is. Koshi arrives and is shocked to see all of this. Now comment what will happen next. What is this mysterious ball? Where does it come from? What will be the reaction of Koshi? Please subscribe to our channel for the next part.